Attention all ground.
Are you ready for more of The Secret Teachings?
My Secret TV!
You have entered the paradigm shift, a timely show with the current environment society is experiencing today. With important changes in our culture, we are being conditioned to change our way of thinking, catapulting us into a new, unknown future. Navigate with me, JP, as we journey through this new world every Saturday night between 6 and 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Tonight's show is called Border Wars. Oh no, it's not a laughing matter, folks. Hang tight.
Secretary Mayorkas is speaking now in Brownsville, Texas, ahead of the lifting of Title 42, saying this requires a regional solution. Let's listen.
Are misinformed by the smugglers and brought to the southern border only to be returned. A regional challenge requires a regional solution. Let me give you a brief overview of our approach. As we indicated last week, we are building lawful pathways that will provide a safe and orderly way for individuals who qualify for relief under United States law to reach the United States safely. Success of our parole processes that we announced on January 5th for the Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans. We saw a 95% drop in the number of encounters of those individuals at our southern border because we built lawful pathways for them to access. And that is the model that we are building upon. Last Thursday, Secretary of State Tony Blinken and I announced the development of regional processing centers in different parts of South and Central America to enable individuals to access lawful pathways from those regional processing centers, whether they qualify for refugee processing, whether they qualify for our existing and expanding family reunification programs, whether they present acute vulnerabilities that may qualify them for humanitarian parole on a case-by-case basis. We are reaching the people where they are. It is not only our security obligation, it is our humanitarian responsibility to cut the smugglers out, and that is indeed what we are doing. We are building pathways. At the same time, we will deliver consequences for individuals who arrive at our southern border irregularly. That is our commitment and our obligation as a way of cutting the smugglers out and taking care of the safety and needs of individuals who qualify for relief.
They should qualify for nothing. We owe them absolutely nothing. It's a shame what this guy's doing on our beautiful border. They're not our responsibility, folks. You're listening to The Paradigm Shift. I'm your host, JP. Happy to be here tonight. I have the honor of serving you on The Paradigm Shift. I want to thank you for joining me. Quite a world we have out there, folks, no doubt. We'll be talking about the border war, as the show is called, tonight. Believe me, folks, we are in a war. You have a duty here. Consider yourself a soldier in this war, a warrior, if you may, because the stakes are higher than ever, folks. Do your due diligence right now. Share those links, groundzero.radio, groundzeromedia.org, studiojfm.com. as well as we're broadcasting on the Aftermath socials, Facebook, Telegram, and the X, formerly known as Twitter. Hey, when do we stop? When do we get to stop saying that, huh? Do it so others can enjoy the show too. You know we broadcast live, Studio J, Rio Rancho, New Mexico, the iBug Guy Network Studios. iBug Guy, leader in pest control since 2013. I thank everybody that uses our little company. It's been a journey, but worth it. And anybody out there listening, I suggest that if you can, start a business so you can control your money. Those days are coming, you know. Also know that StudioJFM.com is our little internet radio home. You know, place you could come for some of the best network programming. Clyde Lewis. Oh, we love Clyde. He's such a good dude. Art Bell, Dan Bongino, Mike Sav, just to name a few. Studio J runs 24/7, 365. You can go right to the website, StudioJFM.com, for details. You know, we got the schedule and live links and listen and, you know, the archive, blah, blah, blah. It's always something to listen to on Studio J, unless I fall asleep. So there you go. And if you're not a member of Aftermath, what are you doing, man? Get subbed up today. You can sub up to the Paradigm Shift for $8 per month, $79 per year. So there you go. Helps the network, helps old JP. Go for it. Dig deep, buddy. Go to aftermath.media for details if you believe in what we're doing here. And we're doing a good work. I really believe that. And many of you are listening, and it shows. So I found this little place on Studio J this week that I didn't know, man. I guess it's a place where emails go from the website. And, oh, my God, sorry, folks. Saw some of them as far back as October, and there you go. There's the end of that beautiful song. Yeah, I answered them all back. I do apologize. I'll be looking in the future. I didn't know that area was there. I mean, what do I know? I'm just a bug guy, man. Thanks for all the kind words, folks. My God, you make an old guy feel good. I really appreciate that. You know, we're building an audience here, I got to say, and it's you that's doing it. I woke up again in the middle of the night, and, you know, the Paradigm Shift, the best hosts play in the middle of the night. And my God, I couldn't believe how many people were listening. It's like, wow, thank you. Makes me feel good. Oh, you want the big screen? There you go. Ta-da. I always forget to turn that on. All right, enough goofing around. We got a lot of stuff to go through here. No guests, but I guarantee you we got an action-packed show with 27 short clips and me blabbing. So, folks, we are in a war, and the enemy is not who you think it is. Yes, we know the federal government's our enemy. Of course they are. We've known that for a long time, but we have another enemy, a very dangerous enemy, and that would be Mexico. I said it. What's going on in Mexico is not an accident, my friends. Do not think for a minute that whole situation is, you know, a broken system, you know, bad policies, you know, an accident, these people just showing up. No, this is all by design, every single bit of it, and you're going to see that tonight. You see, we have laws, folks. We have immigration laws, and we have border laws, and they're not being enforced. That's the whole problem. I mean, everything they're telling you is a lie. It's the narrative. It's the liberal left, and, you know, I mean, these folks don't want the truth. They don't want the truth. They don't want to see it. I don't understand it. The border is in crisis because of their beloved Biden, Joseph Robinette Biden, and his henchmen and women, like, you know, Mayorkas. You know, this is your DHS supervisor involved with the whole thing. He's the guy that called shots. He's doing a poor and horrible job, but they're all in cahoots, folks. They're all in cahoots to destroy America. And they want to do that with replacement migration. Yes, that's right, folks. They want, well, who? Who are they going to? Me and you, buddy. That's who. They thought the shot was going to get them what they wanted. I don't think they got what they actually wanted. None of this is by accident. This is the truth. I mean, Biden can solve this problem in literally a matter of weeks or sooner even. They choose not to. People say it's a ploy for the Democrats to gain voters. Okay, but not really. Not really. Others say, well, we need workers in America. And I agree that might be a very small part of the equation. But the truth is, that's not even what it's about. It is literally a war against America using Mexico as the channel to destroy our country. That's it, folks. That's what's really going on here. I mean, any sane president would send the military to the border and shut that thing down full force and control that border. There is absolutely no excuse for what is going on here now. None whatsoever, unless you are blatantly trying to destroy America. What other reason would there be? The federal government has a responsibility, a legal responsibility, to secure that border and keep our citizens in this country safe. They're failing miserably by design. Do you feel safe, folks? I mean, you know, it's not just like my state, good old New Mexico. It's a problem in every state now, all over the country. They're being trucked everywhere. It's unbelievable. They are literally shipping these people all over the country on your dime. And we're going to show you that. Let's see, this one here. Bear with me. Man, you know, I started really early because I knew I didn't have a guest. I can't blab. We have a lot to go through. Here you go. Let me show you this one.
At Phoenix Airport right now, I'm waiting to board my flight to New York, to JFK. And it looks like we have a whole lot of migrants who are also boarding this flight that the U.S. taxpayers are paying for. This is what the U.S. taxpayers are paying for right here. Premium seats on Delta that they have people coming here. We're paying for this, shipping them out to New York City because guess what? Everywhere else is at capacity. So they have these sanctuary cities like New York that they're now shipping these migrants to that we're all paying for.
And there you go, folks. I mean, you know, what gets me is like no passport, right? They don't need a passport. They don't need an ID, no gate check, nothing, no papers, please. God forbid you and I tried a shenanigan like this. We'd get hauled off. Oh, I blew my funny joke. Let me do that again. God forbid you and I try this. It wouldn't fly, buddy. Excuse the pun. I made that one up. This is your federal government using religious organizations, mainly the Catholic charities, to facilitate and process these illegal immigrants into our country, all over our country. All this sponsorship and this and that, it's all a sham and you're paying for it. This is ridiculous. And it's not right. When I say me and you are paying for it, we certainly are. I mean, we're shelling out some real money and quick as these criminals can print it. It's unsustainable, folks. But, you know, it's by design. You know, as I say, get them by the wallet. Demand from your Congress criminal to quit funding this stuff. Let me give you just a quick summary of what we call the cost.
I now recognize Mr. Strong for 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I first want to talk about the cost of illegal immigration that the taxpayers in my district bear the burden of. It's estimated that this year alone, immigration will cost Alabama taxpayers $524 million. Illegal aliens throughout America are destroying economies, school systems, hospitals, law enforcement, first responders, court system, and jails. 20,288 border wall panels are being stored by this administration in 3 states rather than being installed. This is a failed process that has cost the taxpayers of America more than $300 million to store since 2012. This border fence, it should be installed immediately. If members of Congress support this administration's failed Southern policy, speak up and let your support be known. I feel more than confident that Governor Abbott will be happy to direct buses to your district, and let's see how 100,000 illegals destroy your community. President Donald Trump's been talked about several times. Let's just get one thing straight. His process worked. He processed and returned illegal aliens to the country of their origin. This administration created this southern border circus. Secretary Mayorkas continues to testify. He has operational control of the southern border, and every American understands that he is full of hot air. Our country is under attack at the southern border. They're coming from Cuba, Haiti, Guatemala, Honduras, Mexico, Venezuela, Iran, and guess what? They're coming from China too, and that's just to name a few. America has become the world's dumping ground for illegal immigration. The Mexican cartel is flying 17 drones for each one flown by Border Patrol, delivering
laughing at
fentanyl.
us.
Drones are crossing through U.S. airspace, and Secretary Mayorkas does nothing. If he wants to jam these drones or he wants to drop them, I can tell you this. I've got multiple companies in my district that can neutralize this threat within a matter of weeks. Secretary Mayorkas continues to chew his fingernails and does nothing. Mr. Borelli, as my colleagues have mentioned, the cost to taxpayers in New York is a little higher. This year, it is projected that illegal immigration will cost New York taxpayers nearly $10 billion.
Oh, boy.
This year has also seen record inflation, which has impacted every American family. What have you heard from those in your district about the rising cost? Is this more difficult for them to make ends meet?
Look, the cost concern is more about, for them, the city spending and the impact that migrant shelters have on their lives. We have a shelter that opened up in Staten Island a few weeks ago where the neighbor who owns a house has the showers for the shelter essentially abutting his backyard. On the cost side, we're starting to see that play out now. I mean, in truth, when this crisis first started, if this was 5,000 people or 10,000 people in a $107 billion budget, we wouldn't have even noticed that. Now we're seeing the downstream impacts on cost. We don't have the luxury that, with all due respect, my friends here in the federal government have to spend in deficit. So when we take, an apple from this jar, put it in the other jar, it has to come from somewhere else.
Who do you think they blame for that?
I think they blame President Biden 100%.
Mr. Borelli, low English proficiency students have a negative effect on classroom environments and education budgets.
This, I want you to
these
hear.
Students are often behind and cannot speak English. Additional school funding to compensate for the language barrier is often costly. In fact, it's estimated that it costs $10,000 a year to educate your average student in Alabama. When they are a LEP student, it costs approximately $6,000 more each year. And on top of that, an additional $4,000 if that student is also impoverished.
Taken right from the American kids.
So it costs about 100% more to educate these students. It's estimated that Alabama has about 31,000 undocumented students. I'll let you do the math and what this is costing our education system. Mr. Borelli, can you talk more about the impact on school budgets and what you're observing in your district?
All right, we're going to can that
we
because
hired,
we don't have time for Mr. Borelli, but I'll tell you what he said. And he said that, it's not only the money, but you're bringing these children into our school systems, which is absolutely dumping on the school systems financially, not to mention that these children, they're from another country. Some of them hardly know their own language. So there's this real barrier. And then it's not just we could learn Spanish. A lot of people know it here in America, of course. But we got language barriers from other countries now. China, India, you name it. And Nigeria. These people are coming from everywhere. Don't think this isn't by design. It absolutely is. I mean, they're overwhelming the system. Remember, we've talked about this before on this show. The perfect example of the Cloward-Piven strategy. That's happening. You're witnessing it right now before your very eyes. They're enforcing it, and they're forcing for a political change by collapsing the American system. Our way of life. They are trying to collapse our way of life, draining every facet of this country. And the war is on the border. That's part of it. But you see, this is all by design. We are under attack. It's like a silent attack because half of you are asleep. I hate to say it. When I tell you they're overwhelming the system, you got to grasp the numbers. This is why I want to play you some clips tonight, because I really want you to understand. I can't explain it to you unless you see what's really going on. I mean, remember, the Biden administration is allowing this to happen. They could stop it immediately. Boy, these numbers are going to freak you out. What is this one called? Come on, JP. Oh, border crisis numbers. Easy, right?
In addition to the poll numbers, the physical numbers from the border are proving problematic for President Biden as well. Sources say there were approximately 11,000 migrant encounters at the southwest border just in the last 24 hours.
Every day.
Marking the single highest day in recent memory. In Eagle Pass, Texas alone, there were more than 4,000 from Friday through Sunday. Some border agents are also being cut or assaulted. Correspondent Griff Jenkins is in Eagle Pass tonight, and some of the images we want to warn you in this report may be disturbing.
Migrants cheer after Border Patrol officials cut through razor wire, with emotions running high.
Razor wire you paid for.
A group of more than 300 reached their destination. Some women and children rescued in boats. More than 4,000 arrived in Eagle Pass, Texas over the weekend, causing already overcrowded shelters to swell. This video given exclusively to Fox News by Congressman Tony Gonzalez, showing a soft-sided facility more than 300% over capacity.
That you pay for.
U.S. Border Patrol Chief Jason Owens says this isn't sustainable. His agents, already overwhelmed, facing increased dangers. In the Rio Grande Valley, an agent attacked by a smuggler, marked by the cartel as a rat, the Spanish word rata, tattooed on his forehead.
That is a horrible image to see an officer assaulted and yet know that they're not being given everything that they need to actually protect us.
Congressman August Pfluger is part of Congressman Gonzalez's visit to the border, highlighting the unprecedented surge of migrants and what he sees as a lack of consequences for those who cross illegally.
It's time for Joe Biden to get out of the way. If he gets out of the way, we can solve this border crisis. You can't let an open border just happen without any repercussions.
Others in the delegation say the cartels are in control.
They are taking full advantage of the weakness of this administration.
And the Democrats hang out with the cartels.
And CBP sources tell Fox News these large group spread are creating a distraction for the cartels to move things like the deadly drug fentanyl. Here in the Eagle Pass area alone, there are more than 60 miles of unpatrolled border right now because agents are busy.
And there you go. There you go. There you go. It's alarming. It's alarming. 11,000 people a day. That's what's going down right now. As we speak, it's happening. It's dangerous. It's criminal. And God forbid one of our children fall into the hands of that drug fentanyl, which is another way that they're breaking the system down. It's a war. It's a war. They're breaking our kids down with drugs. The dangers of this drug is unreal, and it's killing our children. I heard somewhere in the neighborhood of 100,000 people last year. It's a war. We're under attack. Wake up. Wake up. I'm Paul Revere. We do have good patriots in the government that are pushing back because the federal government's not doing a thing about it. I mean, you know, Governor Abbott is literally fighting the federal government for the safety of his citizens in Texas. But in reality, he's fighting this war for the entire country. Eagle Pass is like the hot spot, and that's where the real war is going down. Now, I know what this one is. All right, for the viewers, I'll give this to you and I'll walk you through it on Studio J because it's a no. This is what's going on at the border, as you could see, and you guys will watch later wherever, Facebookers, Twitter. Hey, everybody, we're out here. Look at this. So this is look how much money you think is in that crowd of cops right there, the Border Patrol. You know, but wait, you're going to see more. Wait till they do the pan and they show this unbelievable amount of people. You know, there's some women and children, but mostly, you know, young age military, fighting aged men, many men. Look at that. Look at that. 11,000 people a day, folks. That's what's going on. It's absolutely unbelievable. It's It's criminal. That's just treason against our country. I mean, you might want to cancel your plans if you're going down to Eagle Pass because no vacancy, buddy. No vacancy. It's full with a mass flow of illegal aliens in our land. How pathetic. What a disgrace this president and administration are to the United States of America. You know, we opened up with Alexandro Mayorkas, DHS director. I mean, he stated in the opening clip that, and remember, this was 8 months ago. This is what you were doing, buddy, it didn't work. It's 3 times as bad now. I mean, once Title 42 ended, that was it, man. We were getting flooded. It's the end of America, folks, if we don't get a handle on this. It's true. Now, there are, again, some good people in Congress that are holding the fire to those that are responsible. Now, I don't want to say his name because I want you to hear and see this clip of this guy because I love this man. And I tried to find his original clip, which was really awesome, but yeah, don't get so. This man is a good American patriot. I want you to see if you remember this.
The Gremlin Street Gang is responsible for hundreds of violent crimes, murders, armed robberies, witness intimidation, burglaries, drug trafficking, extortion, and brutal beatings. We've arrested 10 of these thugs and have warrants on 7 more. Every one of these animals is most definitely armed and dangerous. Darren Carter, Aaron Carter, Travis Cooper, Cody Guidry, Jaron Diggs, Kirkland Demochet, and Jonathan Landry. We have felony warrants for your arrest. You will be hunted. You will be tracked. And if you raise your weapon to a man like me, we'll return fire with superior fire. Darren Carter, you think men like these are afraid of an uneducated, 125-pound punk like you that's never won a fair fight in your life and holds your gun sideways? Young man, I'll meet you on solid ground anytime, anywhere, light or heavy. Makes no difference to me. You won't walk away. Look at you. Men like us, son, we do dumbbell presses with weights bigger than you. And the convicts in jail, most of those men are good people who just found themselves crossed with the law. They're not evil, and they don't respect you or any punk like you. They'll toss you around like a rag doll. I encourage every citizen watching this to look into your own heart and find the American courage that conquers all evil. I implore you to listen to this message and stand up. Take back your streets. Take back your country. Come forward with information about these heathens that have terrorized your community. And for those who would use this message as a way to create false racial division in our country, take a close look behind me. Standing next to every cop is a leader of our black community. This is not about race. It's about right versus wrong. One last message to the Gremlins. You don't like the things I've told you tonight? I got one thing to say. I'm easy to find. On behalf of the St. All
right, we got to keep rolling, but that is, I love that's Clayton Higgins. Now, the reason I bring that up to you is because you would say, well, wow, that guy's a real cowboy. But right there, folks, you better thank God for that man because that man is a congressman now. He's Congressman Clayton Higgins. He's fighting for you and me, and he's very intelligent. And I wanted you to see the way he stood up to the gremlins in his own town because I love that part. I'm easy to find. That's the spirit. That's the American spirit we need, folks. That's what we got to do. That's what we got to do. But you can thank God now because this gentleman now is a congressman, and he had something to say. Listen, this guy is smart. I love him. Check this out on Mayorkas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My. Mr. Bowman, I wasn't even going to ask you any questions today, but I'm going to give you an opportunity to clarify it for record. And I do believe that, according to your resume, you're a professor of constitutional law, sir. Is that correct?
I am an emeritus professor at the Missouri School of Law.
You're a smart guy. You got an alphabet behind your name on your business card. So is it your position that you're taking today as a Democrat's witness that the founders' intent with the term high crimes and misdemeanors was designed to restrict the power of impeachment to a violation of specific written statute? Is that your position? We're listening.
Yes, and
that is your position. Okay, and
excuse me, Congressman.
You said yes. It's a simple question.
No,
I'm gonna move on.
Excuse me, Congressman.
It clearly was not reclaiming my time. It clearly was not the intention of the founders to limit the power of congressional impeachment over the executive branch, to limit that to violation of written statute.
That's quite correct, Congressman. I've written extensively.
Oh, well, thank you. But you just said something different, but that's all right. We appreciate you being here today, Mr. Bowman, and representing University of Missouri. Sure, it's a wonderful law school. On this committee, we've carried out our investigation of Secretary Mayorkas. I sit here today to tell you we're going to impeach him. He's going to be impeached, and he should be. He is the executive in charge of the border policy for President Biden. Now, President Biden has a right, as the chief executive, to hire men that don't have the skill and then figure that out down the line and replace them. President Biden also has a right as a chief executive to have wild policy in mind. But the executive that sits on his cabinet, that's in charge of actually enforcing those policies, that has the law enforcement experience to know when those policies are going to bring injury upon our country, that executive has a responsibility to advise the president that his policies are not only not working to secure the border, they're actually bringing injury upon our country.
Okay, moving on. It's a long clip. I don't want to play it all. You got the message, right? Thank God for Higgins. Seriously. I mean, this was that sheriff you just saw, the same guy, dressed up in a suit, bringing his intelligence, chastising this liberal ideology that, there's people that actually believe what's happening at the border is perfectly fine. It's a fallacy, folks. Listen, forget your label, righty, lefty, whatever you're dorning. Just forget that. It's a human crisis going on down there. Humanitarian crisis. You have people that maybe the coyotes are convincing them to come with all kinds of lies and taking their money and their lives and whatever else. But now they're stuck here. It's not fair to them. It's not fair to anybody. And we certainly, the American taxpayer, should not be, supporting this. It's not our responsibility. We should be spending our money deporting and building a wall. I mean, that makes clearly more sense. I mean, Mayorkas needs to be removed from office. He should be tried for treason. I mean, he'll tell you the border is under control and he's unaware of any problems. But I have one quick one here, and I'm going to show you how that just wasn't true. Here we go.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like unanimous consent to offer into the record a report produced on September the 6th of this year by DHS Inspector General Joseph Kafari.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be citing from that report during my questioning. Mr. Ballard, do you know Inspector General Kafari?
I do not.
You'll have the honor of meeting him soon if I can arrange that. He's a wonderful man. He's dedicated to his job, and his job as the Inspector General of DHS is to investigate potential criminal behaviors and unconstitutional behaviors from within DHS. And our southern border, 1,954 miles of our southern border, I've walked every foot of it, is 100% controlled by cartels on the Mexican side of that border. You know, to this administration, you all can believe whatever numbers you want. The number I'm about to tell you is real. We've had 9 million illegal crossings, 6 million undocumented, 1.5 million known gotaways, 1.5 million unknown gotaways.
1.5 million known gotaways.
When I went to grade school, that's what it adds up to. So the DHS that's executing the policies of this Biden administration is directly responsible for this rodeo we see at our southern border. From sea to shining sea, our southern borders, what we used to call a large gathering of unidentified subjects in various stages of disagreement and argument.
What I want to get to the point was, but he's going to take too long, is that they have the report. They had the report. And what did they do? Instead of acting on that report and trying to really have a solution to the problem, a damning report at that, they attacked the man that wrote the report and his administration for reporting the findings. That's what they did. Your FBI went after the guy that told you, hey, this is a disaster. We have 85,000 missing children. That's what was in that report. Clay's a little windy, so I want to just move on from it. More windier than JP. 85,000 missing children, folks. Listen, we've done enough shows around here about the children and human trafficking and the terrible things that are happening to our kids. I can only imagine, just based on what Megan Walsh told us 2 weeks ago about how much they get per kid. They're making billions of dollars off this illegal human trafficking. I mean, you see what I mean, folks? It's terrible. These criminals are making money on both sides. They're making both. It's just like the Rothschilds. I mean, these guys are making money on both sides of this wall. And I mean wars. I mean the criminals, meaning the Democrats, because they're the ones pushing all this. I think you and me and everybody else would prefer a wall after what we've seen in the last 2 years, especially the last 8 months. I mean, those poor kids, man. You know, these guys fund the side that facilitates it, you know, giving money to Catholic charities and other organizations. All these pastors you're seeing on these clips are all getting paid by you. And then they fund the dark side of this with the human trafficking and these poor children probably being sold into, you know, sex slavery or God knows what. I mean, same thing happened in Maui, right? All of a sudden we hear about, what was it, 3,000 missing children or something like that? I don't know. The government's just evil, man. I'm telling you, they are just evil. Let's get to Abbott. Seemingly a man that is in a war by himself, getting no support from the federal government, of course, actually being sued by the federal government. Not like the government's doing its job securing the border, keeping the citizens safe. But since the dipstick in chief is failing to do his job, the governor wants to keep his people safe. He's beefing up security. He's pushing back. They're putting 3 times the wire on that board. But you're paying for it all, man. And then it's the legal side on each side of the issue. Imagine that. 2 American government organizations are fighting each other, and you're paying for both sides of it. Isn't that something else? I mean, well, it's a clown world, man. It's just a damn clown world.
Their intentions are like it's good or bad, but they do tend to hide in people's houses also in their backyards.
800 miles away, similar concerns near the border town of Brownsville, Texas, where Governor Abbott has deployed the Texas National Guard dressing in riot gear. While families in Matamoros, just across the border from Brownsville,
this is the fluff piece, so hold on.
This baby placed inside a suitcase as they make the dangerous crossing of the Rio Grande
the poor children. This is how the liberals are. Look at the conditions they're living in.
Mexico has swelled to well over 2,000 people.
This is every day. Buenos días, hermano.
Look at that encampment, full of trash, filthy, unsanitary.
Bringing water and food.
Look at all that trash.
2 times a week.
There's a family that is about to cross.
A family? Oh my gosh, that's a baby.
He takes us to the river point, where we witness a family placing a baby on an inflatable mattress, attempting to make the cross.
So this young mother right here just got to the camp today. And
They're
she's
getting
already
at your
attempting to
heart.
go across. She says she just doesn't have the time to wait for an appointment. She has a 1-year-old with her and 2 young little girls that already went across.
There are times that I'm ready to quit because it's overwhelming.
Crossing rafts back and forth, tied with, line. It's unbelievable. I don't want to sound insensitive, folks, but, at some point you got to say, when does it count for us, the American people? I mean, this lady had an appointment. She had to, oh, really? She had to get over to America. She has an appointment. What, to drop the fentanyl off? I mean, I'm not trying to sound sensitive. These people should not be here. They should not be allowed to pass through Mexico. That's what I say. Mexico should be stopping them. That's why we're in a war. They should not be allowed to enter the United States. I mean, we are in a war, and Mexico is the one that's perpetrating all this, along with WEF and Soros, of course. The money comes from somewhere, I mean, remember how Vicente Fox, the former presidente of Mexico, got so mad? He was spitting mad, F-bombing like crazy when Trump said Mexico's going to pay for the wall. Remember that? These people are not our friends. They don't like us. The government of Mexico does not like America. Boy, they're just as twisted as the cartel. They are the cartels. I mean, these poor people that you're seeing with the ref and the baby and this, they're being promised everything in the world. And they're just complying. And it's a complete invasion of America. Courtesy of WEF and Soros. Can never forget that. The funders of it all. You better believe it, folks. Here's Governor Abbott in his own words.
You got your hands full. You got a caravan on your way, 2,000 strong. What you doing about it?
First, we're monitoring the caravan or caravans that may be headed toward the United States. And second, we are adding thousands upon thousands of National Guard as well as the Texas Department of Public Safety to secure the border. And as we speak right now, they are barricading the border using different strategies. They're laying miles of razor wire upon razor wire. In addition to that, Eric, what Texas is also doing, Texas is building its own border wall, and we expect to have some of that wall up as early as within the next 2 months. Well, and so we, as you point out, we just appropriated more than $3 billion to secure our own border, and those are Texas taxpayer dollars doing the federal government's job. But listen, we have to do it. We have to step up. We have to secure our border while the federal government twiddles its thumbs. The elections have consequences. We see the consequence of Biden being the president of the United States. We need a change in the administration because this is devastating to the United States.
It is devastating to the United States. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's your federal government that's paying to cut the razor wire down. Your own government is doing that. They're cutting the wire down. That Abbott's putting. You're paying for it. Listen, I bet the Texas taxpayers have no problem funding $3 billion to put up a wall and to keep this from happening in their state. I know here in New Mexico it wasn't so liberal, and we didn't have Michelle Lujan Grisham. I heard she's growing a little mustache. She is a commie. I'm not going to lie. I'll tell you the truth. Try living here. I mean, how do you think Epstein's ranch got here? Through the criminal Democrat Bill Richardson and gang. A bunch of pedophiles. And what do you think? You think the pedos aren't involved with all this, border traffic going back? Of course. Oh, they got all the money in the world. They're buying kids left and right. I would bet on it. How in the world do you lose 85,000 kids? that's not easy to do, folks, unless you're the criminal human traffickers that want to sell children. When you're paying to have the wire put up and you're paying to have the wire cut down, it's coming at a very, very deep cost. I mean, we're paying for every single element of this war. It is a war, and it is not only draining me and you, Mr. and Mrs. America, but our children as well. And that's the unfortunate thing. Our children will not just lose the financial part of all this, coming into the world with debt that they never had, but they're going to lose their freedoms. I mean, a priceless gift of God, a right that you cannot lose. I mean, you got to fight for it. They're draining us dry, folks. What is it? The Piven. Couldn't remember the person's name. I have clown here written in my notes. I know that's not it. You're seeing it, man. They're blowing it out on us. It's by design. It's terrible. How do we stop it? How do we stop it? I got one more. Let me give you this one. This is the blocking, the ongoing legal battle between Abbott and the
Texas
your
is
government.
blocking federal agents from processing migrant agents from Texas is blocking federal agents from processing migrants in a public area of Eagle Pass, just a mile away from the U.S.-Mexico border. The move is the latest escalation between the state and federal government over the nation's immigration policy. Texas's Republican Governor Greg Abbott deployed National Guard troops to the park. They are now preventing U.S. Border Patrol agents from entering and patrolling the area. The federal government previously used the space to hold migrants in a staging area before further processing. CBS News immigration and political reporter Camilo Montoya Galvez joins us now. Camilo, how is the state of Texas able to do this?
Hi, Elaine. This really is an extraordinary standoff between Texas and the Biden administration. Texas National Guard members, as we speak, have been deployed by Governor Greg Abbott to take control of this public park in Eagle Pass, Texas, where Border Patrol had been holding migrants in a staging area, as you underscored. And right now, Texas National Guard soldiers and vehicles are actively denying Border Patrol agents as well as federal National Guard members access to roughly 2.5 miles of the U.S.-Mexico border. According to federal officials who spoke with CBS News,
folks,
this means that Border Patrol...
It's a little area compared to the whole border of Texas, but this is the hot spot. This is where it's happening. Now, there was one that, I don't know why it's not in my notes, but you got to hear both sides of this story, and maybe I didn't read that. I know it was in hour one. We have people that believe what's happening on the border right now is being done correctly. They believe that the Republicans are the demons. And if I'm playing this early, I apologize, but we're going to play this one now. I can't even remember what it's called. Was it the liberal? Where is it? Oh, here it is. Is that it? Nope, that ain't it. It says, liberal view on the issue. This is, let me just play this for you.
I don't believe I have previously covered this on this channel, but Texas is currently going against the United States government when it comes to the border at the Supreme Court level. And they have been escalating recently. If you haven't looked into the escalations, I highly recommend you go look them up. It includes National Guard of Texas essentially seizing federal property and then denying access to the Border Patrol to the property that they run and the border itself, and it's just kind of heating up. And we do have this update here in court filing referencing some of it. The government filed its reply at approximately 5 p.m. on January 10th. Hour later, Border Patrol learned that Texas National Guard members have begun erecting new wire barriers, adding to those along the approximately 2.5 mile stretch of the border at issue in this case. Texas also erected new fencing located further inland than the original wire. That fencing further restricts Border Patrol's ability to reach the river in particular areas. The relevant stretch includes the area of Shelby Park, which contains the boat ramp from which Border Patrol routinely launches the patrol boats that use the stretch of the Rio Grande. It also includes the staging area that Border Patrol has used to evaluate and begin inspecting migrants that has apprehended along the stretch of the border. Border Patrol agents in a vehicle towing a boat to launch on the boat ramp requested access to Shelby Park, but the Texas National Guard refused to permit them access to the area. Border Patrol agents likewise requested access to the staging area, and Texas National Guard refused. In addition, prior to the evening of January 10th, Border Patrol agents were able to drive trucks with mounted surveillance equipment on various locations in this area. Those trucks were used to maintain visibility and awareness of areas along the stretch of the river and border, but the Texas National Guard has now blocked Border Patrol's access to the area, rendering its agents unable to place mobile surveillance trucks.
Perfect.
Border Patrol's ability to view this portion of the border is now limited to a narrow sliver from a single surveillance camera located outside of the newly fenced area. So essentially, Texas is now making sure the border is not secure.
Right. Yeah, sure, buddy. This is what they believe, that, they believe that there's a good job being done by Mayor Orcus down there, and that everything is going the way it should, but it's not. You see, that's not the way we do business. Now, this is a big battle because it is federal land, but it's supposed to be secured by the feds. The administration is to secure the border. There are laws written. There are ways of doing business. What's happening on the border right now is not the way we do business. I mean, it's a humanitarian crisis with, you got kids passing through this wire because the feds are out there, cutting the wire down. This is ridiculous. And these liberal rags, they always give you the fluff. Oh, my God, look at this kid in the suitcase. Look at this kid on the raft. Look at this kid over here. Look at this kid over there. I really wonder what kind of true traumatic suffering these children are going through. Honestly, they're being used like pawns. On the last border show last year, we talked about the kid that was passed through 7 times with 7 different adults. Is this really the way we want to treat humans? Is there not more of a humane way? Like, stay in Mexico. Stay in Mexico is a great policy. You didn't have this. And this guy, all that money you spent putting that wall up, which, Mexico didn't pay for, you and I did. Biden made sure and took it down. I mean, this is such a shim-sham. It's terrible. I don't know how liberals don't see this, man. I don't know how that kid thinks it's the Republicans' fault. How in the world is it the Republicans' fault? How are we? I mean, the National Guard is out there making sure it's safe. Listen, what do you think? That boat he's talking about going on the ramp? What are they doing with that boat? They're hauling people back and forth. What do you think they're doing? They're bringing them in because they're making a lot of money. These people should not be here. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'll say it over and over again. It's just terrible that we, the people, I mean, I don't think you really understand the impact that this is having on your life. I mean, maybe you're real comfortable. You work at the machine shop, and you work, 6 to 5 every day. You go home, your wife makes a beautiful dinner, and you shower and go to bed. I don't know if you even think about this kind of stuff, but at some point you got to. Because the system is not going to be able to sustain this, and at some point, the whole thing is going to be broke down, and you got this, what would they say? 1 million known gotaways and another 1.5 million unknown gotaways. That's 2.5 million people you don't know who in the flip they are. You have no clue where they're from, who they are, if they're running from crimes. These guys could be coming to America to get away from crime. Maybe they killed 30 people in Mexico or another country. You got people from China coming in. You know how the Chinese love to send their spies over to America. This is happening. They even mentioned Iran. What do you think's going on there? I mean, there's a lot of things that could be happening, not to mention the contraband coming across the border. All kinds of loads of you name it. Piece by piece, they could get a dirty nuke over here. Piece by piece. I don't understand how we can sit here and not demand that border be shut down. I mean, what's it going to take? How many more people are going to have to die? Innocent people, ranchers that live along the side of that border that are being tormented by these people, stealing their cars, raping their kids, killing them, stealing everything, taking their horses, their food, their money. It's happening. I'm not making this up. I don't understand why the liberals can't see that. This is a huge problem. It's a gigantic national security risk. You have no other issue right now that you should be voting on but this border. I am telling you right now, this is a huge problem. This is how you bring armies of people in here. Oh, we saw a couple of kids and women in the shot, but you mainly saw young men. Young, strong, military. You didn't see no fat kids, fat men coming through. They were young, strong, could be military type men. Cartel members, gang members, coyotes. It's all going on. And, the Democrats, I'm telling you, they're fun both sides. Oh, don't get all upset there. The puppies do too, We got to get rid of these dinosaurs in Congress. I mean, you got Chuck Schumer has been holding this report for 7.5 months. Hasn't even looked at it. Well, he probably had his people read it, so I'm not doing any of that. They could care less. I don't think it's about votes. I don't think it's about getting your lawn cut. I think it's about breaking this system down in America and putting us at our knees. That is exactly what it's about. It's something that you and I, Mr. and Mrs. America, are going to have to wake up to a lot faster than we are. I mean, I know a lot of us are awake. I appreciate that. I'm happy to be a small, minute part of the movement, thank God. We all do our part, right? It's very important at this point to, get a grip. Wake up. It's happening. It's happening, people. Hard to believe. Wow. God, it's so much easier when I have a guest. Well, I got enough info here. I think I can keep us going for another hour. If not, we'll open the phones. I'm not doing it right now. I don't usually open the phones on the Paradigm Shift. I'll tell you a little bit about next week. Natasha Timpani, my good friend, is coming back on the Paradigm Shift, giving us a report about what's going on with saving our children and the things that her and her team and the projects that they're working on. She's always fun to have on. So be sure to look out for that next week. So I do have a guest next week. I just like, when we bring, listen, if you watched last week's show with Mike Gill, that thing, oh my God. That went out of the park. Crazy emails, weird stuff. All kinds of strange things happened. I love Mike. I pray for him all the time. I really do. Wow. It was amazing amount of people that watch, listen, and continue to do so on that show. And I appreciate it because it's not about me or the show or any of that. It's about getting that information out there and holding these people accountable. Now, oddly enough, some of those criminals started following me. I noticed. And I'm not worried about it. I really don't give a rip because the truth doesn't care what you think. You see, the truth comes out and it does what it has to do because it's the power that overcomes everything else. That's how we should operate, right? On the truth. That's what that's the foundation of what we call life here is people that are truthful to each other. That's a power in its own that changes this vibration that we always talk so much about. Truth is, it doesn't care what you think. It's awesome. And the good-hearted criminal liberals can't figure that out yet. People say, why do you pick on the liberals so much? Well, golly, can't you see it for yourself? I kind of draw you a picture, man. Oh, God bless them. They're trying to be evil. Well, it's not a laughing matter, of course, what's happening on our border. And I got to say that, at the local level, put pressure. Part of the problem is these Catholic charities and such that receive all this very large amounts of money. They're ESG compliant and all that. That I can tell you. That's how you get the money. That's the WEF and Soros gang. Oh, yeah. But do know, my good friends, that they had to lay off 600 people in that ESG business because good corporations are not complying. Good corporations are like, we're not doing that, man. So there you go. All right. We got it. We got to fight, man. We got to fight for our children, folks. We're at the mid. This is a part of the show where we break loose for a minute, get your munchies, get your beer, do whatever you got to do. Go use the roast room. We'll be back in hour 2 talking about the border wars, and there's many. And remember, we use copyright-free music in audio.org by Infraction, featuring composers like Infraction, Moko, Cold Cinema, Alexi Action, just to name a few. Look them up, YouTube, sub them. If you're a creator, get an account, man. I'm telling you, it's dirt cheap. Well, I shouldn't say that. Maybe they'll up their prices. All right, folks, we'll be right back. This is the Paradigm Shift. I'm JP. Hold on. Hour 2, folks. JP, the Paradigm Shift. Welcome back. You are listening to GroundZero.radio, GroundZeroMedia.org, StudioJFM.com. Share those links right now so others can enjoy the show too. Don't forget we're on the socials, Ground Zero, Telegram, Facebook, X. Check us out. Sub us at aftermath.media for some of the best information on the web, videos, all kinds of stuff, man. It's all there. Clyde. You can also give to the StudioJFM.com on the evil PayPal at JoeMagin@yahoo.com. We're in a war, folks, and it would seem the enemy is winning. But if you are a proud American and you have the wave of the American spirit in your soul, in your blood, you will fight for this country. And it is my humble opinion, you're going to need to. If you're just joining us here on the Paradigm Shift in hour 2, we're talking about the war on the American border, primarily Mexico. I mean, that's where the prostitutes are showing us, you know. Wait. Sorry, folks. The camera. I forgot the freaking camera. There you are. That's what the prostitutes are showing us. But, it's not just the southern border that's an issue. I mean, we got a little problem, if not a large problem, on the northern border as well. I mean, you might have remembered the terrorist attack on the northern border recently. The day that happened, the Rock Psychic, she called me immediately, and she says, "Oh, my God, did you hear what happened?" And, it was... she lives over there in Niagara Falls. So now what we have here pertaining to that is Well, let me give it to you here. Give you the whole load.
Candidate for president. Sir, are you with us?
Yes, I am. How are you?
Thank you for taking time with us. What do you make of these early reports that this was a thwarted or an attempted terror attack at the New York-Canada border?
Well, look, I have been sounding the alarm bell about the northern border for a long time. I visited the northern border earlier. I'm the only presidential candidate to do it. That's where the new frontier of the border crisis is actually going. We have a bad crisis at the northern border. More fentanyl was captured at the northern border last year than could kill 3 million Americans. And in fact, in New Hampshire, just last fall, there was a Brazilian ex-military man
3 million
who
Americans
was captured and apprehended who had killed 11 people. So this is a mounting crisis. We're ignoring it. The crisis at the southern border needs to be dealt with, but it can't cause complacency to the wide open northern border either. And I think it's sad what's happening.
That's Vivek, as he says. He says it's pronounced Vivek like cake. I remember it a different way. I remember it as Vivek like snake. Woo, Vivek the Snake is the only candidate talking about the northern border, you know. This is true, and I personally am still up in the air about this fella. I really don't know. There's a lot of rumors that Trump's picking him for the VP and all this jazz. Don't follow nothing right now. Just, you know, stay focused on your life. The clown world of politics will just destroy you. Really, it destroyed me. The issue I have with Vivek is he's telling you everything you want to hear. All of us are, you know, we're absorbing this. Oh, my God, he said this. Oh, he's standing up to that one. He's doing this. Look what he did to Nikki Haley. That's what everybody's talking about. But this guy is supposedly fighting for the people. And when it comes to the Canadian border, you know, he is the first candidate to come forth and talk about it. As a matter of fact, nobody's really talking about it. And you would think the Canadian border is very strict. You know, I don't know what do they call them, guy? You guys are out there in Canada, Mike and the gang. Are they border patrol or do they call them? Excuse me, Mounties? Is that wrong? I don't know. I remember that when I was a kid. I don't know what they're called, but they're very strict. I mean, you can't even have a DWI and enter Canada. That's what I heard. So, you know, these days, I'm sure, just like anywhere, there's a shortage of manpower, and even with the northern border. I mean, you know, it's a very wide border, open, very open. It would be hard to supply enough manpower. Oh, boy, I'm going to get emails now. To secure that. And you know, this isn't only just like Canada and such. This is a global problem. The border issue is absolutely happening everywhere. Look at Europe. Look at France. I mean, now we're going to watch Vivek here tell us about this. This is pretty interesting about what's going on the northern border. And it says Vivek 2 first. So we're going to have to do that.
A signal to all the illegal migrants, okay, even now the Democratic administration might be serious about it. Let's fly over to North Country, where many are, coming over right, not through, they're not going to be jumping these barbed wires on this fence, of course not. Hiking trail.
So he's reporting to us that there's a hiking trail right by the entry, the port of entry there to get into the country. Now this one here is he's going to show us this area, and it's crazy, people.
As though you're here, right? We're on one hand is the hiking trail, beautiful hiking trail. We're going to hike if we have a little bit of time. We have the barbed wire fence surrounding this area. Now, track with me. Here's the hiking trail, goes all the way to Canada, and then here's all of the area without any fence in front of it. Goes behind those beautiful mountains down to a stream over there. Maximum 10 yards, shallow stream that you're able to cross. So if you want to cross the border legally, you come here, wait in line or whatever on a day. We're here on a Saturday, so there's not a traffic day. You can come right on in. But let's say you don't want to do it that way for whatever reason. Maybe you're Brazilian ex-military and you've killed 10 people.
True
and you
story.
want to get to this country illegally. Maybe you're actually somebody who's smuggling more people in this country. You think they're going to come where the barbed wire fence is? I don't think so. You might take the literally more scenic route, the hiking trail. Come back around the beautiful countryside, particularly beautiful in autumn now. Leaves are changing.
I'd imagine.
You too. And then you cross that stream.
There you go. I mean, Canada is a very beautiful land. I apologize. I should have cut those together, but whatever. I mean, walk right into America on a scenic hike, no doubt. A beautiful trail. I'm sure it is. I actually watched the other video of the trail. I didn't cut it for the show, but it's a very nice trail, very scenic, all kinds of beautiful stuff and shrubs and water and just, walk right into America, man. Just come right in. I mean, they're attacking us from every stinking angle, guys. I mean, you will need to stand up at some point. We can stop this. We really can. I mean, I even talked to a very liberal friend of mine. Yes, she's a very, very, very liberal, feminist, all that jazz. I have a few liberal friends, really. But she was shocked. She's absolutely shocked about the border. This is somebody that holds the line, pulls the narrative, one of those, and loves Obama. Would vote for him 1 million times if she could. Seriously, they love that guy. But she knows what's going on at the border. She's not blind. She has a brain. She can see with her own eyes. I mean, there's a problem here. It's not a left or right issue, folks. That is gone. This is an issue of national security at the highest levels. They are letting absolutely positively anyone in this country, any nationality, any country. I hate America. Terrorists just walking right in the border. Yes. People that do not like you, maybe based on their religious beliefs. The terrorists come right over. They shave their head. They shave their beard. They learn Spanish. Yes, they do. We reported that a decade ago. And you still didn't listen. I mean, we have to stop this, and we have to stop it now. There's 11,000 people every single day crossing the border. 300,000 in December alone. 300,000 people. You're going to start changing the numbers in America if you don't get a handle on this. I mean, we're not going to make it out of this. And, if we don't put the brakes on it now, we're gone. We're gone. Now, this is a beautiful clip because it takes place in Numuehi, Mexico. My home, well, not my home state. I was born in Brooklyn, but this is where I ended up getting ditched. I wish I could get out of here. This is 4 years ago, a place called Deming, New Mexico. If you live here, the whole damn town is corrupt over there, and it's a beautiful flow of heroin passing through our state. Well, probably fentanyl by now, but this is how these people felt back in that day 4 years ago.
From up here, Deming, New Mexico could be just about any small border town in America. When it was founded over 100 years ago, there were big hopes the railroads would turn it into a new Chicago. That didn't pan out. Instead, this town of 14,000 people, clustered 30 miles north of the Mexican border, has a poverty level twice the national average and sky-high unemployment.
This is an old World War II hangar, and it was completely empty and dirty. And, the city brought
old World War II hangar,
and this became then the intake center.
Chris Bryce wears a lot of hats here in Deming. He's the warden, the assistant county manager, and since Mother's Day weekend, the incident commander in charge of processing and caring for a steady stream of migrants dropped off, some might say dumped here, by the federal government.
How many people have come through Deming in the last month?
6,700.
The first group of 200,
this is 4 years ago,
families
folks,
awaiting asylum hearings, were left in front of the local McDonald's by federal Border Patrol officers as the federal facilities in El Paso were completely overrun. Mothers, fathers, and small children with no money, no food, and no idea where they were. The people of Deming quickly rallied. Father Manuel Ibarra was woken up by a knock on the door, by a family in tears,
Catholic
asking if they could spend the night. That first night, 22 people stayed. Soon, there were 85.
People seem to have really opened their homes, their hearts, their wallets, their pantries.
Oh, yeah, open that wallet, baby.
Their closets.
Mucho grande. Open your wallet. Man, we need a lot of money. Thank you, NBC News, for that, our local affiliate. Yeah, well, listen. It's a sham, guys. I mean, these people are absolutely absorbing everything. You see, here's the problem, folks. You see it right there. I mean, if we feed them, they will come. If we pay them, they will come. If we give them free housing, they will come. If we give them medical, they will come. I mean, the state of New York just kicked a bunch of kids out of school to put illegal aliens in there. Yes, that's what I'm going to keep calling them, because they're here illegally. They broke the law. But yeah, they're going to go ahead and kick the kids out of school, put the illegals in there, which has already been done. They expected mothers and fathers to take time off of work to take care of their kids. It's crazy. I mean, parents rely on public school systems not only to teach their children, but put them in a safe environment while they're at work. What are these parents to do now? I still can't believe that they took your tax dollars and kicked your kids out that are supposed to be benefiting from that to give it to these illegal immigrants. Liberal politicians are emptying schools, hotels, hospitals, arenas, jails. Yes, jails. They're letting illegals go into jails and police departments, hanging out in the lobby due to cold weather. I'm not trying to be, unsensitive. I don't want to sound cold or, I don't care. But when does this stop and when does it end? I mean, I'm sure if you micromanage every single aspect of this thing, it would be in the trillions. Trillions they're fleecing from American taxpayers. Trillions of dollars. When will you stand up? Remember that little fluff piece from Deming 4 years ago, right? Making all that money, Catholic charities. Well, not the same story today, folks. I mean, here's a little clip on, the how people feel today.
As Title 42 is set to expire and officials on both sides of the border brace for what comes next, we take a look at what the impact has been on residents on the U.S. side of the border. Maria Villarreal has spent the past few weeks documenting the plight of those working to make better lives for their families, those working to help, and the U.S. residents who are concerned about what will happen to their neighborhoods as thousands potentially make their way through their streets. That's tonight's Prime Focus.
Tonight, with Title 42 expiring in just a few hours, concern is spreading across the country as officials are bracing for a rise in border crossings and a worry that there's not enough resources to handle the rush.
You see the wall and then you can see the fence. It's really like 3 walls that you need to jump and you're inside already.
In El Paso, Texas, Brian Salazar can see the border wall from his backyard. And up until recently, that didn't bother him much. That is, until the latest influx of migrants leading up to the end of Title 42.
It's like, you don't feel safe now. Like, it's crazy. I could be honest, I feel more safe here in Juarez than El Paso because a lot of immigrants are just coming in. Like, we don't know. Like it's crazy at this point.
Have people tried to come into the property here?
Yeah, it's already a regular thing. We're getting used to it, but it's like, it's getting under control. Like, a lot of people try to get in the backyard, inside their house, in front. And yeah, we could imagine how other neighbors are living too.
Brian shot this video last week of 3 people scaling the wall and making their way into his neighborhood.
All right, 3
you never
people.
know their intentions. People
It's a big
trying to
wall.
come in your house.
That uncertainty prompting him to buy a gun.
What kind of weapon did you end up purchasing?
Like a rifle, 19, but I could purchase.
None of your business, lady.
21. But as having your license helps you a lot. Makes me feel safer. People
Hell
coming
yeah.
in. Don't go in the property. Like, I'm not trying to kill no one. Like, we know our laws here in Texas, and you got to be respectful with your property.
I think it's more intense.
A similar sentiment shared by Brian's neighbor, Tony Lopez, whose family has lived in the area for more than 40 years.
For those people that live in other parts of the country that haven't seen this or experienced this, what do you want them to understand about this?
That it's not safe. It's not. You don't feel safe in your own home, and
How sad.
I don't know what their intentions are. Like, it's good or bad, but they do tend to hide in people's houses, also in their backyards.
Can you imagine somebody hiding in your house or hiding in your backyard? Well, that's happening. That's happening. People don't feel safe now, and she asked me what I'm packing. You don't want to know, lady. you know, that young man we had just played, this is where I was supposed to play that video, but I'll just say this, that, you know, people like him, they don't understand the dangers of the border. They don't live, you know, right there on the border. They don't understand people sleeping in their backyard or breaking into their house or having to buy a gun to protect yourself. It's true. Nobody wants to kill anybody. But I can assure you that some of these people are coming across the border. Well, you wouldn't be friends with them. I'm sure. People do not understand the impact that this is having on our country. They write it off as, oh, Republicans are making the border less safe because they're trying to secure it. What an asinine statement. I don't know, man. These younger people, I don't know I don't think they're the Gen Xers. I think they're the ones before. Wow. They're going to really have a rude awakening when they get our age, let me tell you. Yeah, because by then, if they don't get their act together, Klaus Schwab will be running the world, and you will own nothing and be happy. Delete the bugs. Those evil Republicans. I got to admit, you know, Republicans are pretty wishy-washy. You know, they're part of the problem, too. You can't... I mean, I wear the pin on my lapel only because I'm a one-issue voter. It's all about abortion for me. That's it, period. You do that, I'm not going to vote for you. I don't give a rip. I mean, think about the impact that this has on you right now. Like, think about in your life how you're being affected by this. I mean, who in their right mind would think this is a good thing for America? You know, it's just a good idea to leave the border wide open and have all these kinds of people. And, you know, we didn't even talk about the medical issues that are probably coming. You know, these people, some of them are from, third world countries that don't have the medication, that don't have the hospitals and the doctors like we do here, that can't get help for those issues. They're bringing that stuff right across the border. I mean, TB is huge. TB is very contagious. That's why they check for it at the jails and such. You know, it's just, who in the world would think that this is a good idea? And if I'm wearing the glasses because, oh my God, guys, I have such a freaking migraine right now. I'm not even kidding. Yes, I'll do the show with a migraine. You better believe it, baby. No borders, no country. No language, no country. No culture, no country. No borders, no language, no culture. Deemed by Michael Savage in the 90s, you know it's true. What kind of country do you have without those three elements? What kind of country do you have if there's no borders? You don't have a country. There's no way to discern. At some point, people will all be the same, and in this case, could be very well evil. I mean, there's some evil people out there that just hate America. You think they're not coming over that border and taking advantage of this? Of course they are. God bless Michael Savage. He was so right back then. You know, he's been a fighter on this topic his whole career. I mean, he wrote the book, Stop the Coming Civil War. Great book. You should read it. Because I really believe that's coming. I believe that we're going to see some kind of civil war in America. I hate to tell you. But it's true. We're so divided. The issues are so deep. People almost agree about nothing in this country now. And that's why it's really important to tribe up, find your people, get going, and don't be alone in this crazy world. I mean, if we don't do this, my friends, America is going to be out of business. And believe me, my friends, Americans are pissed. I'd say at least 9.8 out of 10 pissed level. Oh, yeah. It's tearing our country apart. It's tearing apart the minds of the American people. This is like a psyop big time. And it's multiple angles, multiple levels, multiple things. It's sucking every facet of our life. There's tentacles of this thing attached to everything. Listen, folks. People, when they don't feel safe in their surroundings, get very uneasy. And when you have multiple people feeling the same way, whether it's true or not, whether we really have this great danger around us, which we do, people get very uneasy, and then it affects their health. It affects their it's physical, it's psychological, it's destroying America. And they're doing it through the minds of the American people. I mean, how do we fix something like this? What are we going to do? What is the answer? I mean, it's simple, guys. We live in a country that dwells in the rule of law. At least that's the way it's supposed to be. I know we're not getting a great example of it right now with this potato chip in chief. I mean, this guy is something else. We went through this with the liberals when Reagan was president. Believe me, they promised everything to the moon. Can't remember if it was, 11 million, or am I going too high? Maybe it was 2 million. But Reagan gave it to him. He says, fine. He signed the deal. The liberals did not deliver as usual. And these people got, gracefully brought into this country while others waited, paid money, followed the rules, and became citizens. I mean, it's a simple answer, folks. We enforce the rules that are on the books. Here, check this one out.
So given these changes, do you agree with the way that President Biden and his administration have been handling the crisis at the southern border? Or do you find yourself siding at all with the Republicans who believe he has actually made it worse?
Well, I certainly am not 100% in agreement with the president, how he's done this. If I was advising the president, I would have done this. I would have told him, look at the American public, tell them there's a immigration crisis. It's okay to use crisis. There's an immigration crisis at the border. We're going to start addressing this. We're going to be on top of this, and then make some changes. And when you negotiate, as they're trying to negotiate in the Senate, and now with the Speaker Johnson, is everybody has to get outside, out of their comfort zones and do this, because unless we're looking at different polls, you will see the polls that one of the biggest challenges that the president has is how he's addressing the border. And I can tell you, in my congressional district, that's almost 80% Hispanic, mostly Democrats. We're starting to lose some of those Democrats, Hispanic Democrats, because they just don't like the way the administration is addressing the issue. And keep in mind that, like my father, Martin, and other folks, they came in, became a legal resident, then a naturalized citizen. It took them a long time to go through this process. And now what they're doing is they're seeing thousands of people that are coming in into the United States and basically jumping lines. They don't like that. And I think as Democrats,
of course not,
we want to see law and order at the border and still treat the migrants with respect and dignity that they deserve. But you got to enforce the law.
It's not their fault in a lot of cases that they're here. It's true. It's true. I mean, my grandparents came from Italy. They had to, first of all, check in at Ellis Island. They had to be checked for diseases. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot of Italian names were chopped up at Ellis Island because they, the people taking registering people didn't want to spell these Italian names. Some of them were very difficult, like my name, but my grandfather did stay on that island for 3 days till they got his name right, because he wasn't an idiot like they were treating us. This is true. They treated us like dirty wops, without papers, of course. But they would spit on them and they would treat them terribly. Yeah, your own country. I mean, my people. I mean, I get it, But they had to follow strict rules if they wanted to be citizens of this country. And they did. They had to learn English. They had to go to school for 9 months and learn a history of this country. They had to take a test. That's right. It wasn't just come on in. My friend paid $10,000, and they waited 5 years to make his wife, to get her to be an American citizen. Leo Zagami, a good friend of this show. I think he might be a citizen now. We'll be talking to him soon. But he, he's a guy going through the waves and the motions the way you're supposed to, following the rule of law. and becoming a citizen. These people feel like they can just walk in here and disrespect all of those that did it the right way. I mean, it's an easy fix, folks. If we didn't have this commie and chief of the White House, owned by China and dragged around by his pathetic wife, Dr. Jill, as they call her, while Obama's pulling the strings. Yes, he is. You're living in the third term of Obama. Remember, the 16-year plan to destroy America. Yeah, that guy. It's happening right now, you know. I mean, you better snap up, buddy. I mean, I predicted this last year, you know, that here we are, the Democrats are really in trouble. They have this, you know, potato sack in chief that thinks he's going to run for president again. It's not happening. Democrats are going to get rid of him one way or the other. Wink, wink. They might have to call. Did I say that? I didn't mean to. But they might have to call in the old hill dog. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So what are they going to do? I mean, they're really in trouble. I mean, they got this beautiful third term going with Obama, right? They got to keep this plan going. They're going to bring in the large woman. Oh, yes. Michelle Obama, ready to serve. And she'll serve that fourth year of the Obama term with a certain death blow to America. That is true. Boy, what a world we live in. I'm telling you, man. Woo! What a clown show. If I honk, honk, I don't have it set, or I do my clown horn. I mean, this country, America, is like a tinderbox right now. I mean, it's ready to burn. I mean, you know, the strategic name of this show, The Paradigm Shift, couldn't come at a better time. I mean, who would have known way back when we started this thing that we literally would be living in a paradigm shift that could literally go either way? It literally can. It could go. Say literally again, Joe. Drink. I'm telling you. We're living in this time, man. It is scary. It's unpredictable. There's no forecasting here, folks. You're going to go with whatever they throw at us, and it's coming hard. And it's coming with 11,000 illegal immigrants a day. A day. Nah, it's got to stop. This is impossible. We're not going to be able to sustain this. There's just no way. There's just no way. You know, we got this Speaker Mike Johnson, you know, Mr. Representative Johnson, Speaker of the House. You know, conservative guy, one mortgage, no investments, and a dog. This is what they were selling you, man. This was a schmear they were giving you, right? This is what they wanted you to believe. But he's already flip-flopped on Ukraine, and I wouldn't expect a big miracle from Mr. Johnson, your speaker. Not at all. But, you know, old Speaker Johnson, you know, he had to put his 2 cents in.
House Speaker Mike Johnson.
Your 2 cents.
He said in his estimation, it took less than 6 months for the Biden administration to dismantle 100 years of progress that the U.S. Border Patrol had achieved. Some of the first actions that Joe Biden took when he rolled into the Oval Office were that he rolled back border security measures. They were put in place by the Trump administration. We all saw it happen. Remember, it was on his very first day in office that President Biden stopped construction of the southern border wall, and he ended the Remain in Mexico policy. It was estimated on our tour just a moment ago that if the Biden administration would reinstate just the Remain in Mexico policy, it could stem the flow by probably 70% or more. But he refuses to do it. And since the time that President Biden took office, the administration has done next to nothing to protect the border. But we've all seen with our own eyes, they have opened the border wide to the entire world. It's estimated that nearly 170 countries have people coming in and flowing across this border. And some of these are from nations that have high numbers of concentration. And these are not people who are fleeing and looking for asylum, that are in fear for their lives in their home countries. We have hardened criminals coming across that border. They're the ones being released from prisons from some of these countries and sent here to come into the U.S. Rather than incentivizing people to come, the president needs to deter people from entering the country. Rather than discussing amnesty with Mexico, as top Biden administration officials did within the last couple of weeks, this administration should reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy, as was said. Rather than expanding parole authority to an unprecedented scale, the president should obviously end catch and release and stop the abuse of our parole and asylum systems. The president can and should act now. This doesn't require legislation. It requires leadership. And despite the White House's claim, he has all the authority he needs right now under existing federal law to stop this madness. But the message his policies have sent is the opposite of that. It's quite clear. Under President Biden, America has laid out a welcome mat to illegal immigrants, smugglers, and cartels. He is responsible for the grave threat to our national security and our nation's sovereignty that these policies have created. But instead of taking responsibility and providing leadership, this administration has done nothing but attack elected officials who are trying to fix this catastrophe. The people standing behind you have worked hard. We passed our legislation more than 7 months ago. You have red and blue states all across this country that are being forced to step up because the federal government has failed to do its job. Right here in Texas, Governor Abbott has heroically done more to enforce the law than the president has. And how has this administration responded? They have sued the state of Texas to stop their deterrence efforts. They have brought them to court to strike down their ability to put up buoys in the water and razor wire and the rest. It's absolute insanity. The House has done its job. As I mentioned, we delivered common sense legislation that will secure our border.
Real sham
it's
job.
It's been sitting on Chuck Schumer's desk for 7 months.
7 months.
House Resolution 2 was our bill, and the time to act on it is yesterday. It certainly needs to happen. With each passing day, each record broken, this administration's dereliction of duty becomes more and more dangerous and more.
This is your government, folks.
We are here to say that it must stop. What we saw today only made House Republicans more resolved to stand for sanity and the American people, and we will do it. If President Biden wants a supplemental spending bill focused on national security, it better begin by defending America's national security.
Hey, here. What a bunch of shizzle. Here, cheers, here. Everybody gets their money. There's no benefit to you. When Mayorkas talks, he doesn't talk about your security. He doesn't talk about your well-being. He talks about the security and well-being of illegal aliens that are coming across this border. Here. They all pat themselves on the back. Hey, listen, I don't have any disrespect for the Border Patrol, believe me. I feel very, very sorry for them. They got a tough job. People are pissed. I mean, American people are pissed. I mean, don't fool yourself. They can't deal with it anymore. And rightfully so. You should be just absolutely aggravated with this. Now, recently, Owen Schroyer was on Clyde Lewis's show. And over here at Studio J, we run him and, every day, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And we run InfoWars. And, we're not plugging other stations here. We're just saying that, people bring the goods and you got to listen. Now, a lot of people won't listen to their network because that Alex dude, he's crazy as, a house rat. But there's a lot of good people that are passionate Americans like me and you. And at some point, we really have to unite. Like I always say with these big accounts and these big social media influencers that are all patriots. Honestly, man, we all need to get together. I mean, everybody needs to connect. We got to show them the strength in numbers. Here's Owen.
The fact of the matter is, nobody has news comprehension like InfoWars does. Nobody sees the constellation of events, whether it's an isolated situation like the southern border, or you take the larger constellation of how the southern border fits into the UN agenda of the invasion of the United States, the economic warfare, the cultural replacement, and everything else.
Yep.
Nobody seems to get it like InfoWars.
I like Owen. Owen has actually called out StudioJFM.com on his show numerous times. He's a good guy with a good heart, and he's right. This is America. This isn't your left or right label anymore. That's got to go. That's really a big part of the problem, is that we're not thinking about people are pissed. They're done. They're sick of it. We're at, like I said, we're at a 9.8 of a 10 level of pissed. InfoWars, I mean, you can say what you want, but they bring the goods and, they leave their network open to share that stuff. They care for others to know the truth. That's why we run them on Studio J. Not that I'm beefing them up. I want you to give to our network, Aftermath.media. They give you, like us, the news you're not hearing, the news that the mainstream, lamestream media, as we call them here, will not play. I mean, you got to, I've said it before, you got to go to both sides of the park, folks. You got to tune into both, more than both. Tune into everything. Make your own decisions. I mean, not everybody's a hero in this world. You got to watch who you follow. Oh, this one. I never heard of this guy until recently when he came out against the liberals. His name is Cat Williams. You guys familiar with this comedian? I never, old JP doesn't get out of the cave too often, I'll tell you, just to do this show and pretend like I'm working here at iBug Guy. But apparently, at his comedy show, a Mexican man was in the front row waving a Mexican flag, I believe. And Williams just let him have it. Let's check this out. And I've listened to the crew. The crew had to work on this one. I think we got them all, but if I didn't, oh well, I'm going to blow it. Here we go. Is that the right one? Yeah. I'll walk you through it a little. Guy waved his flag. Cat gets PO'd. So he comes back and he points at the guy. And he's calling him out. And he says F-head here, so don't think we didn't get it. F-head, he calls him. And I don't think this was part of the show either. He's pretty PO'd. It's called Not Holding Back 2024. He pulls a flag off his eagle, American flag. He's telling the dude to go get out of America if he loves another country. And the guy's pissed. He's getting up in the audience. He's standing up. Yeah, go ahead, buddy. Security will have your rear end.
Do you remember when white people used to say, go back to Africa, and we had to tell them we don't want to? So if you love Mexico, bitch, get the over there.
There you go. I'm with that, man. How dare you come here and not be American? So he's mocking him now. And then he grabs the eagle. Inaudible. But right here, he gets in the guy's face. Big time. Guy gets PO'd. Starts turning around. Stares right at him. And they walk out. And there you go. That's what you got there. Calling him out on stage, and you should. You absolutely should. I mean, this is the attitude, that people have now. I mean, people are pissed. And by the way, don't dare fly a flag from another country here in America. Be American. Or like Kat said, get to stepping. Go back to your dirt hole country. Quit sucking up my country's resources dry. Feed them and they'll come. That's the disaster we have. I mean, I got to be frank with you, folks. I talked to a buddy the other day. He's a good friend, and he works at the border. He's a Border Patrol agent. I told him, why don't you come on the show and talk to us? Mask your voice. Keep your anonymity. He declined. And I could understand, I mean, I probably would too. Because, see, he actually knows the truth. And he didn't get hired to be a diaper changer for the Border Patrol. I mean, he won't come on here and say that. He didn't tell me those things. I'm just saying. But he knows if he comes on here He'll get chastised. They'll figure it out. And he'll lose his job. He'll lose his pension. This is the kind of pressure they put on people. Listen, he's been with them a long time. The struggle is real. Who would in their right mind want to lose that? But, when do you make the decision and you say to yourself, this isn't right? I know the truth. I mean, God bless the whistleblower, people that come out. And we don't hold it against anybody that doesn't, because the threat is real. The pressure is real. What these people do to you, how they antagonize you and destroy your life. You've heard Megan Walsh a couple of weeks ago on the show. I think they were actually playing it before tonight's show on the network. She, they will destroy you if you try to get the truth out to the American people. It's a sin. It's a sin. Like the Border Patrol and every agency is shorthanded. They cannot keep up with the volume that's coming. Cliven Piven or whatever, Cloward Piven. What a joke. What a joke. We have one with a sheriff here. It's not right, man. It's not right. Hold on, let me get this one for you. Here you go, Texas Sheriff. Whoa. I didn't click it.
Let's talk to the law. The sheriff is Tom Schmerber of Maverick County. And, sir, good morning to you. I know your cup is Eagle Pass. Secretary Mayorkas was on CNN a short time ago. He blames Texas for the problem. Here's what he said.
We have one governor in the state of Texas who is refusing to cooperate with other governors and other local officials and coordinate efforts to address a challenge that our country, which this country should stand united to address. And it's a remarkable failure of governance to refuse to cooperate with one's fellow local and state officials.
Sir, the reason we played that is because we wanted to show our viewers that comment he made about your state, and also the comment from the president last night when he said, we got to do something, they ought to give me the money I need to protect the border. How much money does it cost to cut through razor wire that you have lined along the border in the Rio Grande River?
It would cost a lot of money to cut wire, a whole bunch of money.
Federal government cutting your wire.
But it's going to be a lot of money for that. I'd rather have that money for us for the manpower and for the equipment that we need.
The manpower.
So do you think that when President Biden says if they just gave me more money, this problem would get solved?
Well, the only thing would be if we can give that money to the sheriff.
See, that's the problem, guys, is that, the money is not going where it needs to go in order to secure the border. I mean, it's by design, right? Break the American system. Shorthanded, not enough manpower, overwhelm the border. I mean, you saw a couple of weeks ago on the Joe Show, we played that video over and over, the trucks just driving right through. Hundreds of trucks not stopping. What do these poor men and women do when they're putting themselves in danger? I mean, your government should be concerned that we're putting Border Patrol agents in danger. In danger. But, let's just sue the state of Texas. That seems to be the answer. Now, I got a bone to pick with Elon Musk. I'm not going to lie. Elon Musk is part of this problem, if you ask me. I know he's your hero. I know some of you love Elon and you're Elonians. I get it. I mean, we all have a hero, right? Mine is my dog. Elon has quite a take on the border. As you know, he's got a Tesla plant in Austin, Texas. And I happen to know a retired rancher. He's up in Santa Fe. They got a little place out here. And, he's got land over there, and he tells me that the illegals are actually using his land and Tesla's land to cross the border. The coyotes, and especially the cartel, are running drugs through there daily. So, we got a little clip from Elon for you Elonians, but, don't hold your breath here, people. I'm telling you. Okay, hold on. I got to see what this one's called. Oh, Musk 2. He's in the M section.
So here we are at Eagle Pass, and we're going to be meeting with
the sort of major officials.
Many people you'll see are fleeing poverty. I get that.
Sure.
But there are others that are fleeing, incarceration.
Yes, we are basically.
Sure.
Yes, where you can go to get away from the law.
Yes.
And
this is a funny video. Hold on.
Okay, well, I think with that, and I see this sort of just a kind of a group over there that's coming in. So it's this sort of I don't know if you could really see it. I'll try to switch it around.
This guy is too much. The hell you doing, Elon?
Switch around. So anyway, that's like, I don't know if you can sort of see that group, but that's a group there.
And that's what we get from the great Elon Musk, is that he doesn't know how to use his camera on his cell phone. I mean, thanks for the update, Elon. I mean, the guy doesn't even know how to use a camera on his phone. Really? Mr. Rocket? Watch out for this guy. I mean, he literally gave us absolutely nothing on the border. We can't be sure about his property, and he could actually slow these cartels that are coming through there. He could definitely stifle the flow a little bit. I mean, the cartels use part of the border, specifically his area, to pass. And that's what that rancher told me. He was, he doesn't go down there much, but he keeps up with the people. It's a very nice area. There's a little town there and all kinds of stuff. But it's turning into, everything, turns to, and it gets worse. I mean, this gets worse with Elon, just so you know. Because, when it comes to the border, it's all about the Benjamins, man. I mean, money is king, and these people are making a mint, even the old Elonian. You got to love this guy because, Elon is concerned about the border. I'm looking for it. Here it is. Okay, watch this.
What's flyers don't have time for pesky things like border crossings. Yahoo Finance senior autos reporter Prosper Romanian here with more. What's the deal here?
It's a pretty sweet deal if you can get it, right? A nice, fast, easy pass, fast lane at this lesser-known border crossing from connecting Laredo to Nuevo Leon. Tesla has about 6 suppliers in this Nuevo Leon area, and I guess they're able to kind of go through their Bloomberg reporting. They're able to go there without kind of showing documentation back and forth, and getting those parts there.
Oh, how inconvenient!
Tesla lane, is that what you're telling me?
Tesla lane. It literally says Tesla on the signage. And Bloomberg had this story. They spoke to the Nuevo Leon minister there, talking about how they had set this deal up, and it's like they want to make Nuevo Leon a EV sort of mobility hub in Mexico. So works out for both parties, I guess.
Did they pay for it?
They didn't disclose how that deal was structured. We don't know what's going on in terms of what kind of benefits Tesla is giving the state of Nuevo Leon, but it works for the suppliers in Mexico and it works for the company, the Gig Austin plant in Austin. So it kind of works out for both companies or both sides.
Sweet.
Sweet. Gotta keep those billions flowing, baby. I mean, guy strikes a deal, right? And, opens up a road to Mexico. No border check, no accountability. Just drive down Tesla lane. Come into America. This is ridiculous. A solid administration would not have allowed that. They would have put the kibosh on it immediately. It's a kicker, no doubt, folks. I mean, they flood God knows how many millions into this country. I mean, who really knows? I mean, who is here? Where are they going? How many gotaways? It's a mess. And now all of a sudden, we can't have these people here, as Governor Hochul, I think that's her name, out of New York said. But she does absolutely nothing to fix the problem at all. Yeah, we got time for this one. Oh, wow, we actually got through all the clips tonight. That's a beautiful thing. I like this one because I grew up with women like this in New York. Check this one out. Oh, that's not it. Whoa, here it is.
I'm happy to see the state is engaged.
What a
this
joke.
This is a national crisis.
This guy's a loser,
this
too.
This administration has done an awesome job. No other municipality has been able to accomplish over 101,000 people, no child, no family, sleeping on the streets.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams responding to criticism from Governor Kathy Hochul over how to handle the flood of migrants from the southern border. The mayor's been asking the state and the feds for help, with shelters filled to the max. More than 2,700 asylum seekers arrived in the city this week, and those who are in shelters now exceed 58,000
Are you
people.
getting
About
these
2
numbers?
Madison Square Gardens, even more, actually. Let's bring in New York City Councilwoman Vicky Palladino. Councilwoman, thanks for joining us this afternoon. What does New York City need from the state?
New York City needs for the state, for Governor Hochul to actually act upon what she's saying, to keep throwing dollars at our city, which is something that we do need. What Hochul needs to do is Hochul needs to step up to the
Throw
plate.
money at it.
And if we're going to keep taking these buses in, which is ridiculous in my opinion, we need to close the border. She needs to do 2 things. She needs to either step up and get to a podium and say we've had enough, stop, and address Biden. This is Biden's issue. This is a federal issue, and she's not addressing it as governor of this state. She could do that, and or make sure we start to spread out the buses here and bring them upstate. They had an incident up in Erie County when a very liberal Democrat offered his 2 hotels. Then there were 2 sexual assaults. And then quickly, Kathy Hochul stepped in and thought it was an atrocity. It was terrible. Well, of course it's terrible. But we've got that going on down here.
Not in my backyard.
He only has 545 immigrants up there. Asylum seekers, whatever you want to call them, they're illegal immigrants. And he's got them up there. And he had 2 sexual assaults. We've got 107,000 down here. 58,000 are being housed. Where's the balance of that other close to 60,000 people? Where are they? They're spread out all over our city. So Hochul needs to step up to the plate
on the streets
and do what she should do. The mayor of this city, the only Democrat that came out and called on Biden to close the border. Now, we all know that's not going to happen, Rich.
Yeah, take a look at what the city's already spent here, by the way.
Right.
$1.73 billion.
Correct.
The estimate of $4.7 billion
we don't have
coming in
enough time for this one, but
the 23.
I love that lady. She's District, believe 19. Brooklyn, where I was born. Wow, what a problem they have in New York. And I had one more clip, but I'm not going to play it because we don't have time. And that was, it's called Your Home for Illegals. Yeah, this was Eric Adams. Maybe we could just play the beginning of it. Eric Adams. This is what he wants you to do.
To take the next step to this, to go to the faith-based locales, and then move to private residents.
Private residents.
There are residents
Give up
who
your
are
home.
suffering right now.
You're
because
suffering.
of economic challenges.
You need money.
They have spare rooms. They have locales, and if we can find a way to get over the 30-day rule and other rules that government has in
Yeah, and we're the
place,
government. We're here to help, right? You've heard that one before. This guy wants you to give up your extra rooms, and we'll pay you. The government has an unlimited supply of money. They print it as they need it, and they're happy to print that money to give you. Just take in some illegals. That sign, "We believe," it's all over the country. It's in front of every liberal's front door. We believe that, there's nobody illegal. And da, 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 da. I know a lot of people that have that sign, and I am telling you right now, buddy, I've never seen an illegal alien in any of those homes. So don't give me your fluff job and give me your hypocrite attitude. You guys are all hypocrites. Oh, we believe nobody is illegal. We believe water is a human right. Tell Nestle's that. I mean, take in a family if you're so, you believe in this and that. Man, we burned it up, guys. Holy Toledo. Wow, that 2 hours? What the heck? It's over. The show is... Oh, sorry about that. The show's over. Holy crud. We did it again, man. Paradigm Shift, the fastest 2 hours on the internet on Saturday night. It is on every Saturday between 6 and 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Don't forget, Ground Zero is the place to be on Saturday night with our hot lineup, the best of Secret Teachings with Ryan Gable, the Paradigm Shift with yours truly Oh, yours truly. Oh, I'm doing a Biden. Spooky Actions at a Distance with David Masters. And I believe it's the Best of Ground Zero right after that. I appreciate those emails just made me so happy. I appreciate you guys. You're so awesome. Thank you for joining me on the Paradigm Shift. This is JP, and I am OUT out.